Shit there too.
Yeah, it might have been it. I bet you it was.
What are we doing?
Oh, you got the camera?
Yes.
Save it for George Hardy so we can get pictures of it.
Yeah. That's right. I got 2 tapes. Patrick?
You never charge your shit anyways.
Where do you think George Hardy comes in at? Do you think he goes up there?
He has to climb through the window because he's a B-list actor.
He did a music video of Troll 2, so then I went on YouTube and said this is a great movie. I Netflixed it, sure enough, Netflix had it. Me, him, watched it in my house, laughed till we cried.
Yes.
Next to, you might be better than Tom Hanks. Next to Tom Hanks, if Tom Hanks is here, you're like right there.
That's great.
Like, if Tom Hanks does a bad movie, you're gonna be up above him. You gotta do more movies though, George.
Oh, well, I know. Well, I'm gonna do this.
Well, me and these guys do movies, and we've done film festivals
We'd
here.
love to get you guys on the film. Michael, this is Michael who played my son.
Right.
Yeah, Michael,
Awesome.
of course.
Yeah.
Can you give us the line? You gotta.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Say, what do you
get fist of hospitality?
No. Say that one, and then what are you doing to my son? You know that one?
Yeah.
So I was actually curious. How much did you get for to act in this movie? I mean, you don't have to.
Just $1,500.
Really? But did you enjoy yourself?
Oh yeah, it's a
I
lot
get
of fun.
from the movie. It looks like you guys had fun. I just wanted to make sure you didn't, you guys didn't hate it afterwards. You know.
No.
That's awesome.
That's right.
You're my hero. I'm just saying. I told my mom. My mom's like, Zach, I don't want you driving down to St. Louis. And I said, Mom, I'm going to see George Hardy.
Yeah, you guys should.
And she said, oh, of course I know who George Hardy is. No, she didn't say that, but she said who? And I said George Hardy.
Yeah, we gotta get you on film.
All right, cool.
Hey, Michael. Okay, how do you say that? Shakwati?
Shakwati. Just guess.
Yeah. I love Shakwati arts, right? Yeah.
The best lighting.
Stop them, Joshua. You're the only one that can do it. If they beat, they'll come to the same end as Peter in the story.
But how can I stop them?
Okay. You'll have 30 seconds to come up with some way to stop them.
Looks like a young Michael J. Fox without the Parkinson's.
Where'd he go?
No, people disappear.
He's not wasting his time at all. How the fuck is it blue?
Daddy, please! Don't hit him, Michael. Please don't hit him. I'm not what he deserves. A big famous over little shit. Joshua is not a little shit. He's just very sensitive. The smell.
Do you see this writing?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Do you know what it means? Hospitality. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. I eat my food by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. Sister and mother will have to do likewise.
I just want to thank Dale and the Tivoli Theater for tonight and all of you guys for coming out and supporting one of the worst movies ever made. I can't imagine that you guys have any questions about this film, right? It all makes perfect sense.
Three short questions. They all make perfect sense. One, I missed your deal on Inside the Actors Studio, so I wanted to know what your favorite customer was.
Favorite cuss word?
My favorite customer.
Favorite customer.
You talking about just
Whatever.
It's just the best.
Two, was the writer in fact actually on the brown acid? Because I expected at least one troll.
Yeah, I got an interesting. I mean, it's
And you can only bring 3 things with you. I wanted to know, why do you think you would be stranded there, and why would someone let you bring 3 things?
Well, it has certainly impacted my desire to eat bologna. I haven't touched it since. But no, seriously, I mean, like the teaser, I grew up. I mean, I did the film when I was 10 years old, and had a lot of fun. I got paid to make faces, run from midgets, that type of stuff. I mean, every kid's dream. And then, as I became older, as a teenager, I was like, holy crap, I'm in a bad movie. I'm going to be remembered as the kid who pisses on his family's dinner. And I hated the movie. And then within the last couple, more or less the last year or two, all of a sudden I was like, man, this is really interesting. What's going on with this Troll 2 stuff? And I would see people, I started getting people writing me and, just odd requests for interviews, and I started seeing people listing their favorite films, and I'd see, like on MySpace, I'd see like Shawshank Redemption and then Troll 2. I'm like, how in the world did this happen? And so, yeah, it means a lot to me, actually. Like, this, going around and meeting everybody and just seeing kind of, people just having fun with this film and working on this documentary. It's been an incredible project.
I think that's a really good question, because I think what it's meant for me more than anything else is, really it's a miracle that we're here. Because when you think the internet brought this all back together, because the way this all started was in 2006 of April. I was watching my flat screen at home, and there was Troll 2, 5 a.m. in the morning. And I thought I had this premonition, someone that's not a patient of mine or a friend is going to call me, and sure enough that afternoon, some guy was doing a radio documentary on Troll 2 from Clemson or Furman, I can't remember where it was. And I said, well, why are you doing this? He said, you don't know the cult phenomenon around, the world phenomenon around Troll 2. I said, no, what are you talking about? He said, you don't believe me, just go to IMDb on the internet. It's called Internet Movie Database, which is the largest website for any movie like you do.
You guys haven't heard of that, right?
Have you heard of that? Most of you probably heard of it. So I go in, I Google IMDb, and I go in, and I see this little, it says cast reunion, asking for all cast members to come back for a first Troll 2 screening in Provo, Utah. So last April 2006, we had our first screening. Michael was not there, but then from that we come to this, 12 cities later with the documentary in the way. What's true for me though is the fact that the relationships that we've built coming back together. Because when I did this with Michael, of course he was 10 and now he's 29. I was 34 and now I'm 52. And so what's cool about this whole thing is that we have built relationships not only together as friends and doing this whole project together, the documentary. But not only that, but the other cast members have all come back together. So, unfortunately, some of the others aren't here tonight. Darren Ewing, who plays Arnold, and then Jason Wright, who plays the Playboy Son of the Coopers, and then Jason Stephenson, who's the guy that does the stretch and the run and drinks the Neilbach milk, and Lance comes back in Mr. Presence. In Utah, we had 20 cast members. The Goblins came back, yeah. And then Connie, before the night ends, like the last question I usually end up with is telling you what's going on with all the cast members because everybody wants to know. But the bottom line is building the relationships again and just seeing, this has been fantastic that we've been able to do that. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So when you were making the film, did you have any clue that it was going to be as bad as it was? Or did you think you were actually making a serious...
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's kind of the charm in this thing is we were all, doing our darndest to make a good movie, and we just miserably failed.
what you talked about earlier, where is Margot Prey, and what was it like working with such an incredible actor?
Margot, we're still on the hunt for Margot Prey.
Is she real?
She's real. We're gonna go back and. What is happening now?
This might be it.
You can't piss on half the desk.
Going on with all cast members, so maybe we can split this up. Michael, you can just share. You want to do it? Michael's sister, Connie Waits, is Connie Young is her name. She has 3 children. She lives in Park City, and she does some Disney films. She will remain an actress after this film, and she does some Mormon, I think some Mormon films in Salt Lake there. And let's see, Grandpa Seth is now 74 years old, and he's hanging out. He's a big sweetheart. He's been to Seattle and a few of our screenings, and he is exactly like he is in the film. I mean, this boy's, I wish I could call him on the phone that y'all hear him. Darren Ewing, who plays Arnold, is a comedian and a stand-up comedian, and he's got 3 children, and he's 40 years old now. He lives in Orem, Utah, right? And he wants to move to Los Angeles and take his family and move down there. Darren wants to actually pursue his acting career. He's also he's a professional drummer and a terrific musician. And let's see, Jason Wright, who plays the Playboy son of the Coopers, actually has a pretty interesting history, probably of all of us. He's probably the most interesting of all of us. Yeah, great guy. But Jason ran for state senate for believe it or not, for the state of Utah, for senator, the state of Utah, and that's probably a few years back. But he's also written a book called Christmas Jars, which is about to be released as a major motion picture next year. So if you want to read some of Jason's works, you can go down to Barnes & Noble and read Christmas Jars, and he's got another book out now. Margot Prey.
One thing about Jason that's really funny is he does a lot of political commentary, and he'll be talking about political subjects with some other politician, and he'll just interject random Troll 2 sayings. A couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or 2 ago, I heard him say something. He said some politician's name, and he said he's evidence that goblins still exist. And the guy on the end of the phone was like, "Goblins still exist? What?"
He's brilliant. He works a lot of Fox News. Let's see, the drugstore owner, the guy, Neil Bob, eggs, blah, that guy. He is probably the most interesting of all of us. Don. Don's 82 years old now, still lives in Salt Lake. He's come to several of our screenings. Don has an interesting history. He was a tap dance instructor in France for a while. He was a personal trainer for many years. And now he's writing a book about being a beatnik in Greenwich Village when he was in his teens, or 20 years old. He's 82 years old. Let's see, the Credence, the Witch, Deborah Reed, she and her husband have their own production company and have a TV show in Salt Lake. She was a little bit resistant, as the same guy, Mike Allen, who played the preacher. And but Mike is a bodybuilder, poet, or something like that. He lives in Park City, and oh man, I tried to get him to come see what Mike and I were trying to do is entice as many of the cast members to come back for a documentary. It'd be interesting. The fans just they identify with each of these characters. So Hallen would not. He was so resistant to salt church culture. He played the preacher guy. And he wouldn't. I remember first connecting with him through the internet somehow, and he emails me back and says, "I don't want to have anything to do with the Troll 2 whatsoever. You know.
Did he do his own stunts?
Did he? I would ask his gloves. I don't know about that. And we'll talk about the stunt people pretty soon because that was funny too, by the way. But no, Mike is he's a personal trainer in Salt Lake City, and you see this.
The best part was so he was pretty resistant at first, and we called him in Houston and said, hey, you need to be a part of this. This is a lot of fun. And he called us back and he left a message, and he said, I've reconsidered my position on Troll 2. I've talked it over with my people, and you can send the materials to my P.O. box. So, but the next, a couple of days later, we had him at the Salt Lake City screening, and I think he's finally kind of wrapping his head around this thing. So,
And Jason Stedman is who does the stretch, Jason manages the band, and he is also a musician in Salt Lake. And let me see, I'm trying to think of who else about that.
The guy who plays.
The goblin with the eyes, you mean? Well, actually, we had three little people come back at our last show. Actually, we were looking for the Little People's Association because, again, this was 18 years ago. We were trying to find little people, not just with little people. And so, anyway, three of them showed up, and it was pretty cool that they got to come.
What happened to the guy who played the sheriff?
Oh, Sheriff Jimmy Freak, he did pass away. Yeah, he's the only one out of all of them that he died 2
They
years
killed
ago.
Tommy Cop's dad.
The house that we filmed Troll 2 in, where Kerry Michael the steps and all that, they're about to take that down. And we hope there is talk about a Troll 3. And when Claudio came over they want to do Troll 3 really bad. They're talking to producers right now.
And we flew back with, we spent 10 days over in Italy, and we actually went and interviewed all the different crew members and the special effects guy and all that stuff. And we flew back to Los Angeles with Claudio. And Claudio is a great sport. He's a really good guy, but he doesn't quite really understand what's happening with this movie. He was saying things like, Michael, why? Why they laugh? It's every part that's not funny. He's been a good sport though, and he called yesterday. He called me 7 times with new Troll 3 ideas, and so see.
Will Troll 3 be about leprechauns?
Well, Stella says she already has Troll 3 written, but Claudia's wife says it's already on.
See, that's the trick. I think that's the hardest thing with this type of thing is you couldn't. How do you make a movie like Troll 2? You can't set out to make something that's intentionally bad, I think. But if there's any guy to do it, it would be putting the original director, the original writer, back in the director's chair and see what happens.
How big were auditions for this? How did you guys get selected?
It was a lot like any other audition. I was 10, and I had done a couple of theater productions before, and my agent called my parents and said, there's this really great horror movie that's coming into town. Michael would be great for it. So went to the audition. I just remember walking in, Italians, speaking Italian, no English, smoking cigarettes, and Claudio just up in my face asking me to improvise, saying things like, now pretend there's a spider on your face. And it's great. So 2 days after, the agent called my parents and sent the script, and my dad, who's very, he's just kind of very pragmatic, not exactly a creative type, he's flipping through the script, reading it, and then I remember him just scratching his head saying, I don't know, Michael, this is a really weird movie. But luckily they supported me, so.
We all auditioned in a hotel up in Park City called the Yarrow up there, and I remember, if you go to Europe, everybody smokes cigarettes. Everybody smokes a cigarette. So when we did this audition, I don't know if you guys know, you've not been to Utah, but nobody smokes, and so we go into this room and we audition. It's like everybody from Europe I mean, it's like they brought all the cigarettes from Europe into this one room. And you walked in there and you could barely see, you know, that far in front of you. Cigarette smoke everywhere, and no one spoke English. I mean, Claudio speaks a lot better English now than he did 18 years ago. And I remember us reading, and they go, good energy, you know what I mean? And I had to do the piss on hospitality thing. And Michael went around, I didn't even know about Michael, but you know, I got the part the next day, and I thought, oh shit, what do I do? Because I remember I had to take off 3 weeks from my dental practice, which was and everybody, my parents, my friends, everybody. I was just about to get married. My parents, now my ex-wife. They all thought I was crazy, and she still thinks I'm crazy. But the bottom line, what happened was it was a 3-week shoot for me. I got paid $1,500. I think Michael was about 4 weeks from him. I mean, they just came in and did this thing as quickly as possible and got out. And you know, and it's interesting because the day I walked off the set, I thought, you know, I'll never see these people ever again, you know. Until one day, about 1990, it surfaces on VHS, and my sister calls me from Philadelphia, and my brother-in-law knew how to Google back then, and she goes, George, I go, what? She goes, your movie's out. I go, oh God, oh, you know. And she goes, I said, well, what's it like? What's it like? She goes, it's bad, George. And I go, I'm just like shaking inside. She goes, I said, well, how bad is it? She goes, it's really bad. So then the next thing I know is, you know, some of my patients come walking in, Dr. Hardy, I've seen your movie. I'm just going, oh boy. And now what's next? So then I never watched the thing until I saw the first screening, and you know, for 15 years, I would show it to my patients. I had these video eyeglasses, and I would show it to my patients, and I watched Troll 2 while I threw it on their teeth.
I want to thank all of you guys again. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for staying with us.
If you guys want, we've got some posters out front and some T-shirts too. If you want to stop by the table. One more question. Oh yeah. Come on, we'll sign your shirts. Yeah, we would love to do that. Really, honestly. So yes, thank you all again for coming. It's great. Love St. Louis. It's a beautiful place.
Rest in peace. Ooh.
It's pale, and I get some damage from that, and then I will never